We were one day in the restaurant. I'll never forget it, man. I was in there and I looked at my wife and I said, I messed up. I said, I messed up. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm done. I said, I can't do this anymore. And I told her we're gonna go back to Miami. I'm gonna pick up and we're gonna go.
Hey folks, I'm Brooks Derrick, and this is A Lawyer, His Friends, and Food. A show about local business owners, their journeys, and the thing that brings people closer together, food. On today's episode, how Lazaro Montoto built Tropical Grille, a restaurant group with, as of this recording, 11 stores, over 500 employees, and counting. So when Lazaro was growing up in Miami, he never envisioned of opening a restaurant, let alone leaving Florida. The only thing he wanted to do was work hard and provide for his family. His first job was washing dishes at the age of 14 at the Mutiny Hotel. And after making a name for himself there, he secured a job at one of the most prestigious restaurants in Miami. So how did he go from there to opening a restaurant in South Carolina? Well, that's where our story begins.
One guy tells me about a restaurant in South Beach. I'm in Coconut Grove, Florida. A guy tells me about a restaurant in South Beach. One of the cooks that was working with us, he's like, man, there's a place called Smith & Walensky in the beach, and the waiters, man, they're crushing it. They're making $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year as a waiter. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So, you take it with a grain of salt, right? So I go over there and I apply for this new opportunity. I'll never forget a guy named Jamie Zambrano and a guy named Henry Delgado. Those are the two that were in charge of that location now. Henry's still with them now and a great mentor and a friend of mine. He's like family. He'll be a friend for life. But this guy, I remember sitting in front of this guy.
Enjoy, and I brought you some garlic cilantro to go where you go.
Thank you so much.
We, I'll never forget, I sit in front of this guy, right? And then I have a little bit of a fine dining experience. We were a small luxury hotel. We dealt with celebrities. It was a good environment, but this was like the top of the game for the food industry. There was Smith & Walensky and Joe Stonecraft.
Is it mostly a steakhouse kind of place?
Yeah. Steakhouse, seafood, right on the government cut, overseeing the ocean. I mean, to me, it was probably the best location in Miami to have a meal. But I show up there, I apply. The guy interviews me, Henry interviews me, and he starts asking me a little bit about my wine knowledge. And I say, listen, I don't have any wine knowledge. I know a few things.
Red, white.
Red. That was literally that. Yeah, that was the extent of my knowledge. So he, as soon as he hits that, we had a nice interview up to that point. He's like, oh, man, I mean, I can't hire you. You have no wine knowledge. I mean, you know where you're applying? This is the creme of the creme here. I mean, we deal with $5,000 bottles of wine. So I'm like, okay, I must have done something with my face where I caught his attention. He's like, why should I give you a job? Why should I give you an opportunity, kid? And I said, how many people do you have working in this building? How many waiters do you have right now? He said, I have about 90 waiters. I said, I guarantee you, out of them 90, there will not be one that works harder than me in this building. And he looked at me, he crossed his arms, and he's like, kind of scratched his head, and he's like, I'm gonna give you an opportunity, but you better come back over here. Your first day, you better come back here with some knowledge of wine. And he was a very serious guy. To this day, this guy is so serious. He looks at you, and I'm like, all right, yes sir. So I paused for a minute. I'm like, all right, listen, now that you've given me an opportunity, I have to ask you one question. He's like, what's that? I said, well, I just had a little girl. My wife and I just had a little girl, and I want to make sure that I'm able to provide for her. I want to make sure that I'm gonna make enough money to be a good father, a good husband. Right. He's like, what can I expect to make here roughly? He looks at me. He says, how much are you making right now? I said, I don't know. I make probably, $24,000 a year. And he got up. He said, kid, look, I'll give you 5 seconds to get the hell out of here before I kick you in the ass. Those are his exact words. And I'm like, I left there so confused.
What does it even mean?
Yeah, I jumped in the car and I called my wife. I said, I got the job. And she's like, oh my God, congratulations. Like, first question out of my wife's mouth, how much are you gonna make?
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea. And she's like, well, did you ask him? Because she told me, make sure you ask him. I said, well, yeah, I asked him and he kicked me out of the room. So I promise you, hey, listen, the first night I go to work there, I make $600.
You're like,
when I walk out of that building, I'm telling you, it changed our life. It was such a freaking blessing. I walked out of there, I called her, I'm like, I made $600 tonight. She's like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, I swear. I mean, I got the evidence, I'm coming home.
Let's try this honker sandwich here.
Yes, sir.
is good. Oh, it's dynamite.
Good.
Yeah. And crunchy, gooey.
That's right. Go there.
Pork is dynamite. Ham in there. Oh man.
A little different than your classic bowl, but you know,
Yeah.
more traditional.
Is that Cuban place still open? That's over in. Is that Mad Cuban or something, right? They're not open anymore. Is that right behind us?
That was actually a family member of mine. Yeah, she decided to go in a different direction.
I think I heard that or knew that somewhere in the parts of my brain there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good too.
Yeah, dip it in that there. Yeah, she.
This
yeah.
sauce is my jam.
That's one you like right there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she decided to go in a different direction, so that opened up an opportunity for us to jump in here. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't come into Simpsonville otherwise.
They had a good Cuban.
Great Cuban, for sure.
So this is the trick, trying to figure out how to talk while we're eating this delicious grub, right? When you, okay, so you got this job at this, probably a much better job than you probably ever imagined that you were going to get. You took home $600 the very first night, and you're thinking, looks like we made it, right? Like this is like, what takes you from that point to sweetheart? I think we need to move to Greenville. Like, how does that?
I was there 5 years, grew with the company, took over their private dining. I was shining in that company. The trajectory of my career was, better than I ever could have imagined. No reason to even think about leaving that place, but, we end up coming here to visit, paying a visit. Actually, my aunt that was living here in Simpsonville, she moved right here in Simpsonville. And we came to visit.
Visiting her here?
Yeah, okay. Coming to visit, and she showed us around, and we just fell in love with this town, honestly.
Right.
One of the pivotal points for us was we went to Brookwood Church on our last day. We were here Sunday morning. We're gonna go to church, and we're driving back another 10-hour drive back home.
You churchgoers back in Miami too?
No.
Okay.
No. It was never a church that I found that I felt like spoke to me. I guess. Yeah. I never found a home as far as the church down there. I stay in the Word, YouTube or whatever I can find. Thank you.
That's so good.
Thank you. But no, we honestly we had no expectations of that either. We just showed up to church, to a church service. I sat all the way in the back. My aunt likes to sit all the way in the front. I like to sit all the way in the back because I'm, like I said, still have a little bit of a shy tendency. I'm in a new town. I'm like, let's go back here. And I don't know what I was hiding from, but I couldn't hide far enough. But yeah. So we're in there, and it's a great church service. And Harry's talking about this is Brookwood Church. Talking about sometimes in life, God will present you opportunities where you have to move in order to, for Him to take you into your blessings. He was talking about Abraham and Lot. Now, I'm not sure how familiar you are with those stories, but but for me it was he was talking about their story, but for me it felt like he was speaking to me.
Right.
Even though I sat in the far back end of that church and I was trying to hide back there, I felt like He reached out and grabbed me from way back there and said, "I'm
Weird
speaking
how
to
that
you."
works sometimes,
It's incredible, incredible. Yeah. I tried to hide and He found me.
I read something that you put your 2 weeks notice in before really getting the general consensus and approval from the wife.
100%. Yeah.
That's a bold statement. Right?
Yeah. I
a bold decision.
I saw the opening. I saw enough, but it was a risky move. But I put in my 2 week notice. I get home, and I tell her I put in my 2 week notice. She said I was crazy. Like, are you sure about this? I'm like, I'm sure. You gotta trust me. I'm sure. And one of the things that gave me comfort was, I mentioned Henry Delgado. That guy's, like I said, he's somebody special to me. He took me under his wing. He taught me so much in the 5 years I was with him there. He taught me so much that I'm forever indebted to him. But he told me, listen, go, give it a shot. Said if you ever need a job, you better call me. You call me and you get your job back. You just tell me when, and it's yours. So I left.
That was good security, right there. Right?
I left with a lot of peace.
pull into town. You have a lease signed here? Or you?
Yeah.
Or you can't come to Aunt and Uncle's. You have a lease ready
No, we
here?
came. My mom had moved up here in that time period,
Okay.
and she has an apartment. She has a room waiting for us. So
Right.
you know,
You pull into
there's 4 of
Mom's
us in a little
apartment?
room. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Right here, actually, ironically, we're sitting in Simpsonville. We were right here on Grandview Drive. We had a little apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment. What was it? 4, 5, 6 of us, and we had 1 bedroom. They had the other, and you know, we made it work. It was a blessing at the time, for sure.
so what's your first job here? Where you go there?
Very first job was actually a High Cotton.
High Cotton.
High
downtown,
Cotton in
right?
downtown. Yep. Now it's
Where
Halls.
Halls is where
Yep.
Halls is now, right?
Yep.
And what did you do? Did you serve there?
Yeah, I needed something quick. I don't like to, you know, since I was 14 years old, I've never been without a job. So literally the day I got here, I walked in there, got a job right away, and I was waiting tables, threw my resume out, trying to find
Is that
something.
07? Is that 07?
That
something like that?
was, yeah.
Okay, 07?
Yep.
All right.
07, yep. So we end up there, you know, I end up in High Cotton. I throw my resume out. I end up landing a job at Ruby Tuesdays.
Right, okay.
As an assistant manager.
What store was that? Where was that?
That was a Woodruff Road location.
Which one?
Woodruff Road.
Woodruff
right
Road,
there,
okay.
The movie theater. Yeah. GM Mark McKinney, phenomenal guy, somebody that I love and have a great relationship with. You know, just another one of those guys in the journey that's been instrumental to me.
Right.
But I was probably there about a year.
A year?
Yeah, about a year.
When do y'all kind of hatch this idea for a restaurant? Is that percolating all the time?
Yeah. Right around that time period, we're throwing around the idea about doing like a little restaurant lounge type concept.
Okay, right.
That's when we did the mojitos concept.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay,
we did mojitos in downtown Greenville on the West End. Back before there was anybody over there, we were one of the first people down there.
I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
Wow. So you open that. What's that like?
We created we brought kind of like a Miami flavor down here,
Right.
And
Club like DJs?
yeah,
stuff?
DJs,
Okay.
live music, acoustic. You know, and like Kenya was one of our regular
Right.
DJs there. Trey Francis was, I think that's one of the first places he played in Greenville, if not the first place.
All right.
I mean, we're filled. Every corner of that place was full, and I mean, it was fun times for sure.
So how long does that play? How long are you in that place? How long is that?
I was there for about a year. Towards the end of that, I was working on opening up the first Tropical Grille.
I read or watched something that pregnant wife comes up with the idea for this place.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, we're still mojitos, and you know, good woman, man. You can't go wrong with a good woman and a craving.
That's right.
But we're driving to downtown. We're just you know, having a little lunch day one day, and she says she's craving. She's like, I miss food from back home. I wish we had like a fast casual Cuban option that we can go to and grab something, you know, quick and affordable. And I looked at her, I'm like, holy crap, man, that's the best idea you ever had in your life. And jokingly, I tell her, you'll never have another good one again. Like, we're gonna put you up on the shelf,
That's
you're
it.
done.
Yeah,
it's over
it.
for you.
That's right.
It.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
So how do y'all go from mojitos to opening that store?
Another day, I call up a guy and a guy named Ford Elliott. I call him up and say, hey, this is a guy that I met at Mojitos. Happened to be from Miami. And I call him up on the phone. He gave me his card one night. I call him up on the phone. I say, hey, Ford, I don't know if you remember me, man, Lazaro from Mojitos. Yeah. Well, I had this idea, this concept that I want to bring to Greenville. And I'm not quite ready yet, but, you know, I just wanted to throw the idea your way, see if you had any ideas, any thoughts. And Ford is like one of those guys that his mind is always going. I mean, that guy's always thinking to this day. And he's like, what are you doing right now? I'm like, nah, I'm just, you know, hanging out with my wife. We love downtown, so we're on our way to downtown. And he's like, why don't you meet me somewhere right now? And I'm like, well, you know, I'm not ready just yet. But, you know, he said, just for fun, man. Meet me in downtown. I'll never forget, just for fun. That phrase will stick in my mind until the day I die. Just for fun. He said, meet me in this place.
I made a lot of bad decisions in my life just for fun.
This is a good one.
This is a good one.
Okay, it normally doesn't work this way. Normally it's all the bad stuff. Yeah, man, just for fun, man. Those words will penetrate my soul for the rest of my life, man. Because I look at my wife and I'm like, you know, this guy's crazy, but whatever, fine.
Right.
You know, we'll meet him. And he's like, yeah, meet me at 215 Pelham Road. You'll see the Publix there, you know, meet me. So we're new to town relatively. We still don't know our way around Greenville that well. So punch it in our GPS, we drive down there and we show up to this place. And, you know, we look, cool little building, kind of deserted in the bottom, but, you know, nice little corner spot. And we walk in, the first thing I tell him, I say, hey man, I mean, I wanted to set the expectation immediately. I said, listen, I'm not quite ready yet. I'm not there yet. You know, it's something that we're thinking about. And he's like, this guy, I mean, there's no telling Ford no. You can't tell Ford no. So Ford gets on the phone, me and my wife were looking around. He gets on the phone, hey, I'm over here with Lazaro Montoto. He still screws up my name to this day. He still can't say my name right, but after...
Motorola?
Yeah, I was like a Motorola, Montoto. I'm like, man, Ford is Montoto. And whatever. I don't even correct them anymore at this point, but I see this guy on the phone, and he's calling the listing agent, and he says, listen, I got this guy from Miami. He's a great chef. He has an amazing concept that he wants to bring to Greenville. Ford like literally puts the phone like on mute. He's like, hey, lad. You know, how much money do you need to make this happen? I'm like, looking at my wife, I'm like, what's this guy talking about? And
wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this is how it happened. I'm looking around, I'm like, I just threw a number. I have no idea. I don't know what this thing is gonna cost me. You know, I see a walk-in and I see two hoods. I got some bones, I got some stuff I can work with. So I said, $30,000. Yeah, you know, he's gonna need $30,000 if he's gonna take this space. You know, this is a time in Greenville where, you know, they needed people. It wasn't the Greenville of today where everything is thriving.
Right.
It was not that Greenville. It was on the way, but it wasn't quite there, anywhere near there yet. So this guy hangs up the phone, and he's like, he was more excited than I was. He's like, man, I got you $30,000. I got you $30,000. I'm like, what? Like, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean you got me $30,000? Can you explain this? And he's like, man, there's something called T.I. I'm like, T.I.? Yeah, I know T.I., the rapper. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, man, tenant improvement allowance, you know? I'm like, what is that? He's like, man, I'll explain that later. They give you money, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, I'm looking at my wife like, I'm waiting for the cameras.
That is something, I got goosebumps. That's something that you never would have known about, right? Like one guy, you meet him at the bar, your bar, but you meet him at a bar, and he has this one little nugget of knowledge that is completely foreign to you.
Oh yeah.
And that's the trick. I mean, that, boom.
Man, I'm telling you.
Wow.
You can't make this stuff up. Man. I'm waiting for the cameras to come out like I'm on a hidden TV show and you just got pranked. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, you know, we jump in the car and I'm telling my wife, like, is that real? I mean, is this guy for real? What's happening here?
You're still like getting your phone out. What does that actually mean?
Yeah. I'm not understanding what this guy's saying. So, and you know, we talked to my mom and my stepdad and get them involved in joining us in this venture. But I'm still hesitant. I'm the conservative guy. I'm like, you know, hold up. Like, let's think about this. I remember one day we're sitting in the house and I'm racking my brain. I'm doing the numbers. I'm like, I'm doing the math, and I'm like, you know, we got to sell this many bowls in order to make rent. How are we gonna sell 300 bowls? Like, that's impossible. And I'm diving into these numbers, and I'm freaking myself out. And I'm like, I don't think we should do this, man. I really don't think we should do this. And she's like, do what? I said, do this restaurant. She's like, I already signed the lease. The lease is sent back. I'm like, no.
That's
like,
great.
Oh yeah.
You put your 2 weeks in to move here.
Payback.
She signs the lease. That's good. I like that.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
Oh yeah.
That's good payback.
Payback. That's what it was. I never saw it like that. I know what she was doing. It was payback. So, you know, she signs this lease, and here we are. You know, we're doing all right for ourselves. We got a nice stream of income coming from mojitos, and you know, we're gonna make this thing happen. You know, right. and then of course in life, you know, sometimes you get curveballs. So we got the biggest curveball we've ever been hit with in our life. I'm unemployed for the first time in my life in the middle of opening up a new restaurant.
Right. So when this relationship dissolves and you walk away from mojitos, what stage is the Pelham Road store at? Where are you in that process?
We're essentially putting paint on the wall.
Okay.
You know,
and it's y'all, I'm imagining, right?
Yeah, me, my wife, my stepdad, and my mom. Yeah.
Because that was the four of y'all in that first store, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So we had a plan, right? We had a business plan, so to speak. You know, we're relatively new at this, but we had somewhat of a business plan in place.
Are you still living with your mom and stepdad then?
At that point, we had already bought our house, our first house.
How are you paying your bills?
Well, we had a job right up to this point, right? So now I'm unemployed.
You got 3 months of basically no job, basically 4 months no job.
Yeah, well, our decision was quick. Everything had to be thought of real quickly because the money going out is extremely quick at this point. You have to upfit a restaurant, buy food. I mean, you name it. The money's going out very, very quickly. So $30,000. I mean, they weren't going to last us very long. The only thing that was going to hold us up was the fact that we had income coming in. So we're gonna use that income to help open up our first.
Where was that
Tropical.
income coming from?
Originally from mojitos.
Right.
No longer there.
That's gone.
Gone. So at this point now we're left with
Nothing.
with nothing. Yeah, but
No,
with
no income. No income. You might have,
No
you have
income.
some savings. You have some money.
very little.
Very
I mean,
little?
when I say very little, I mean not even $5,000 to our name. You know, so we had the 30 plus maybe 5, and we had some credit cards. So we're in a position right now where we had to decide: are we going to pay our basically throw our credit down the drain? Our credit's going to go down the drain one way or another.
Right.
Basically, we came to that realization. We're
The
either
joys
not
of opening a business.
It's either we're going to pay our cars, our mortgage, or our business, or open these doors. Which one? We got to pick one. So we decided we were going to open those doors. So in that process, I mean, I had a perfect credit score, 800, never missed a payment in my life. So that was very, very hard for me, man. I had to see my credit get destroyed.
Phone calls.
Oh my God, yeah, threatening, all kinds of stuff.
All the letters.
Yeah, I owed a lot of people money, a lot of creditors money.
Yeah.
But it was a situation I didn't intend to be in. It was
Right.
unfortunate circumstances. I went from making $7,000, $6,000 a month to $250 a week on unemployment. So I'm thinking I'm going to open these doors relatively quickly and move forward, right? And everything, and I'll never.
Anytime in this process, you're thinking, I screw up. Are you thinking?
I'm thinking. I
screw up?
haven't verbally said it up to this point yet, but I'm gonna say it soon. But up to that point, I never said that to my wife. I'm
Right.
feeling it. I'm feeling all the pressure of it. I mean, I'm hurting, thinking it all. But I hadn't said that just yet. So we continue. We're moving forward. We're trying now. We're trying to really, really tighten things up and figure out how we're going to get equipment, how we're going to do all that kind of stuff. That's where New Cut Road comes into play. We were, searching Craigslist to figure out how we're going to upfit this place. And there was a gentleman that closed a barbecue restaurant in Spartanburg. He retired and he had all this what he called junk. I called him on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, I got all kinds of junk sitting in my front yard." I said, "All right, you got a bunch of junk sitting in the front yard. Well, I need the junk. It might be gold for me. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna go see there, but I show up to this guy's front yard in New Cut Road in Spartanburg, pulled into this place, and I see all the stuff just sitting out in his front yard. So I come in. I'm like, "How much for that? How much for that? How much for that?" I mean, I picked up a stove. My first stove. It was beat up, but it worked. $50. 3-compartment sink, $300. An entire dining room package, ugly. There's pictures out there of this dining room package. It was ugly.
You had some seats though, right?
$300. Yeah, little booths. They were black booths. We painted them red, and tried to make them look as good as we could.
Right.
Couldn't afford a sign. We had at the time Pepsi gave us a free banner that said, Tropical Grille coming soon. So we're going through those motions, and at this point, I hadn't gotten to that point just yet. I'm not quite there yet. Everything is falling apart on the other side, but we're moving forward on the restaurant.
When you say other side, you're talking about financially or
Personal financial side.
Okay.
My cars are not being paid. My home is not being paid. We're struggling as a family to provide essentials, little necessary things. We're maxing out credit cards. We got to the point where we got no more credit cards to pull from.
Right.
So we bought the furniture, we set it up. We're getting to the day where we're about to open the doors, and we're looking around, and all right, we're going to do this thing. And that's where the Christian music comes from. Christian music was never part of our game plan, our business plan. It was we were in a broken time, in a time of just a lot of stuff going on, and God somehow got these doors open. We're going to flick that sign on tomorrow, and I made that decision that night that the music was going to be his. So I've never been a super religious guy. I don't consider myself a religion, but I have a relationship is what I say. I have a relationship with the Lord, and I said, "This is yours. This is yours." So turned on that music the next day, turned on the sign, turned on the music, and here we are, first day of business. The 4 of us in there, and we sold $37 that night.
$37.
$37, yeah. Nowhere near enough to even pay for the light.
You're like doing your calculations. You got your abacus out. You're sliding stuff around. You're like, this ain't gonna work.
We're dead and dead.
Yeah.
Dead in the water. We got the doors open. So that night, the last couple of the night, I went to go check up on them. How you doing? How was everything? Oh, the food was phenomenal. I loved it. And the lady tells me, unfortunately, I don't think you'll be open more than 6 months. And I'm like, shoot, you must have looked at my bank account. You know, I'm like, yeah.
You know something I don't know.
Yeah. This lady's been in. She might be my, working for Wells Fargo. Whoever I was with at the time, she sees me like negative withdrawals.
We've gotten some letters about you,
these
sir.
guys are dead. There's no way they're making it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it was the banner, the free Pepsi banner.
We saw your
maybe it
sign.
was the used furniture.
Yeah.
I mean, you could look around that place and you could literally see failure if you had eyes. You could see these guys are not going to make it. So it could have been a number of things that she could have picked out from. But she told me, she goes, with that music, you'll never make it. And I was like, okay, I didn't expect that one, So I said, I thought about it for a second. I said, thank you. And she's like, well, what do you mean, thank you? I said, listen, you just challenged my God, and now I know I can't lose. And she looked at me. She was a super nice lady, by the way. It wasn't like anything, mean-spirited about her, just how she truly felt.
Yeah.
And she goes, that's a good way to look at it. She walked out the door. I cranked my music up, cleaned the toilets, cleaned the floors. I mean, had my own little praise and worship session, and was ready for the next day. But we weren't making any money. There was no income to be had. Anything that was being sold was we were in the negative.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You're eating all your meals into place.
We're eating everything in the place. I'm unemployed. I started looking for work. I said I gotta find a job to be able to sustain us, because there's no way we're gonna be able to make it. So this is where I almost get to my breaking point right here. This is where I'm getting there. We ordered our first order of food was in a food stamp card. I mean, that's just what it was. There was nothing else. We had to get the final couple of things with the little bit of money we had on the food stamp card.
Oh, so you go to like a Costco or somewhere, buy
Walmart,
right? Walmart. You go to Walmart to get your last supplies to open the doors.
Yep.
And you use your food stamp card.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you. We went through the ringer, man. Yeah, there was nowhere else to pull from, So thank God for that. First time I've ever been on food stamp in my adult life, So there was obviously, I feel like a failure as a dad, as a husband. I'm failing. I've dragged my family, across the country, 700 miles. Left a great career behind, so I'm there. I'm there at that breaking point. I'm feeling it.
You left $600 a night your very first day.
Yeah, that was early on.
$300 a day up here.
Yeah.
For food.
Yeah. So here we are in that moment, and I said, all right, I have to find a job. I need to find a job. I'll come over here at night. You hold it down in the morning or whatever it is. We'll make it work. So I started applying. I have a great resume. Everywhere I went, they hired me on the spot. You're hired, you'll start this day, fill out this paperwork, I do my background, boom, boom, hand it over. I'll get a call every single time. I get a call 2-3 days. Say, look, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring you on. What happened? Well, your credit is no good. Yeah, I had no idea that was even a thing.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So every door closed.
They're like, sir, I'm sorry, you have a 600 credit score. You need to go home.
400 credit score.
Yeah, whatever the bottom is. Whatever the bottom is.
I was in the bottom. Man, let me tell you, I was at my breaking point. We now my mom moves in with us.
Okay.
Remember, we're living with her originally.
Right. First moved up.
Yeah, we bought our house. We're starting to do our thing. I've been independent since I was 15 years old. I've helped her. She's a single mother. I've helped her, and we helped each other. And I was never somebody that required that kind of help. Since I had my first job, I paid my way. And my mom has to move in to help me pay the rent, so my mortgage. But she's in the same boat we are, so she doesn't have. None of us are making money. So at that
is she
point,
helping out? Is she working at the store too, or
she's working at the store? I think at that point she took a little job, like a little part-time job, also just to help pay for something, anything essentials. The big stuff wasn't going to get paid. The cars weren't going to get paid. The mortgage wasn't going to get paid. We had to keep the light on at this point. In the middle of the night, first car gets repoed. Neighbor comes over, like, Laz, I think they stole your car. And no, they didn't steal my car. My car got repoed. So yeah. I'm telling you, man.
Nope.
Just straight up, I didn't have anything to hide. I mean, it's what it is. My car got repoed. The next car gets repoed. She comes over again. Laz, I think your car got repoed. I'm sorry, your car got stolen. No, that was a repo. That was another repo. We have a foreclosure on our door. We're getting letters that we're gonna get foreclosed on. God. I mean, I'm done.
How long is this going? Like, you open the doors.
Yeah.
how long are the doors open when all this is going on? 6 months?
Yeah, maybe 6 months. Maybe 6 months. We're right on the cusp of that 6 months where we're gonna start paying. Now we're gonna have to start paying our lease.
Yeah.
So like the water's like right here. I got my nose
Sales
right
still
there.
crappy?
They're starting to pick up a little bit,
Okay.
but not quite where I need it to be. But you know, we're getting there. We're getting
Okay.
there. So I needed to make it another month or so and pick up sales. I had about another month and a half to pick up the sales enough to be able to make that first payment.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're closing our doors.
Right.
So.
So
Yeah.
are you saving some money along the way to get ready for that 6 months? Or are you looking at the break-even chart and thinking, I need to make this much money so I have this much money to pay the rent that month?
Yeah, exactly.
That way, okay.
Yeah. We're coming back from negative.
Yeah.
So we're working our way back from negative,
Okay.
and you know, we're to that point where it's right there. It's right there, but still, again, you know, it's right there just to pay my lease, not to pay my cars that were gone.
That's just to keep the lights on in the store.
In the store.
Not everything else.
Not everything else. Not everything else. So that's when I was, you know, I almost waved the right flag, man. We were one day in the restaurant. I'll never forget it, man. I was in there and I looked at my wife and I said, I messed up. I said, I messed up. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm done. I said, I can't do this anymore. And she, you know, I told her we're gonna go back to Miami. I want to pick up and want to go. And she looked at me and she said, listen,
It's heartbreaking.
yeah, she's like, I don't care, we're going to the bridge together. She said, you told me that God brought us here for a reason. Pick your head up and let's go. Let's go. Get out of that space you're in right now. Keep pushing. So, you know, she gave me that energy I needed, man.
That headspace is deadly too, right? That headspace is deadly.
I was so done.
Yeah.
I was so done. I was this close to making a phone call. Call up Henry. Say, Henry, get my job. I'm coming back, man.
So what happens next? Like so you have your for lack, it's not your come to Jesus moment, but just you have this kind of moment of like, okay, we're not giving up.
Yeah. I saw my wife was on my team, you know.
Right.
So I was more concerned about her feelings, how she was, you know, the kids. You know, Christmas time was there. We were right around Christmas time, so
No presents.
Yeah, nothing. My kids were super cool about it. There were 2 little girls and a little baby, but they were cool about it. You know, they never made me feel any kind of way. Like, you know, they asked like every kid. They were used to having presents under the king. You know, and family rallies around you. They pick it up. They pick up the slack. My father-in-law was amazing. My dad. I mean, they made it happen. You know.
But as a man, you're going through a really tough time.
Man, I'm hurting.
Right.
Yeah, I'm hurting.
Having a really tough time. Not you can't kill the lion for the food for the winter, right? Or kill the buffalo for the food for the winter.
Yeah.
When you turn the corner, what's the next thing?
Man.
The sales just slowly creep up.
So I don't know what happened after that, man. It felt like all of a sudden it's like, all right, boom. Like now we have a line. You know, people are starting to come into business. I don't know if it was a seasonal change. I don't know what it was. To me, it was just maybe God was testing me, man. I don't know.
Right.
I'll never forget, there was a day, my daughter couldn't have been, 2010. She was a little bitty one, man, but there was one day that she was, my wife went out to take a catering. It was one of our first caterings, and she left me alone, but I had my daughter with me. And this was like the first time we have like a real line out the door type situation.
The springtime maybe, something like
Man,
that?
it must have been, man, but it was like, it was happening.
Yeah.
And she runs out to take this catering. Normally she can go out and I can handle it myself, one person at a time, no big deal. I look back and there's a line.
Yeah, when you're selling $300 a day or $500,
yeah.
$600 a day, you can make that
handle
food.
that on your own, no problem. Yeah.
You don't have much staff then at this point in time, right?
No, it's still just us, still just the 4 of us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
You ain't running a payroll at this point in time?
No, we couldn't afford a payroll. No. We were doing it all. We were working, all of us are working 7 days a week. I mean, all day, every day. Yeah. My wife had her newborn, so she was the one that got to get away from my mom, my stepfather.
She got to get away.
Yeah, she got to get away and handle the kids. And
I'm sure women won't be appreciative of that. She got to get away and take care of the baby.
She got away to go work twice as hard at home.
Exactly.
Yeah. No doubt about that. She got away to go work twice as hard. Yeah, no question.
I have little ones. I have a 3-year-old or 1-year-old. My wife's pregnant now, so I understand.
Oh, the hardest job in the world, man.
Yes.
Being a mom, man, for sure. But she runs out, and Maddie's there, our oldest, and we have a line on the door, and she liked to play on the register. We let her play on the register a little bit.
Okay.
The customers love her, and she has a good understanding of it. You know, she can handle one customer at a time, no problem. But I see this line, and I'm like, Maddie, I need you to get out the way. I need to handle this. She's like, Dad, let me help you. I said, Maddie, you need to get out the way.
How old is she right now?
She's probably 7 at that point. 7, 9.
9.
This girl, she's got something about her, man. She's quick with it. So she's like, Dad, I got you. Let me help you. All right. So I let her take the register, and every once in a while I'm turning around, watching her, helping her with a couple of things. This little girl's giving back change. I mean, she's doing it just right. She made one mistake. When you order south of the border in Tropical Grille, you gotta ask the customer if they want beans. Otherwise, they get mad at you because you didn't ask them, and then they didn't get the beans. And they're like, "Where are my beans?" Well, you didn't ask for it. Well, nobody asked me. So I got a 9-year-old that registered.
It's the 9-year-old's fault.
Just a 9-year-old. I promise you, just like
it's her
that.
fault.
Just like that. Just like that. I have a customer come back and like, "Oh, I didn't get any beans on my." I'm like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, it doesn't come with beans." Well, nobody asked me. Yeah, I'm sorry, the 9-year-old didn't ask you. I got you. I said, Maddie, every customer you gotta ask them if they want a drink and if they want beans on the south of the border. You got me? She's like, "Got you, Dad." And from that moment on, man, she was just boom, boom, boom. My wife gets back from the catering. I called her on the phone. I'm frantic. I'm like, "Hurry up! I need you."
Yeah.
So she comes back in the door frantic, and she walks in the door. The whole dining room is full. It's one of our first time having our full dining room. But at that point, the line's been taken care of. She's like, "What can I do? What can I do?" I'm like, "I'm good. We're good." She's like, "What do you mean? Like, how you guys do this?" I'm like, "Well, Maddie took the register." So you gotta be kidding me. Yeah. She saved me.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So in that restaurant, how was the grill nearby the register where you could do everything?
Yeah, I'm grabbing chicken, I'm grabbing the line, I'm cooking everything at the same time. I'm like back and forth. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
My God. And from that point, it's kind of like.
From that point, it just remained like that. I don't think we ever had a slow day since.
So is that 2000? That's mid 2011, spring, summer 2011, something like that.
Yeah, roughly around that time.
What do you think was the turning point? What was the
Greenville, you know, they showed love. They put the word out for us. They
figured out you were there.
Yeah.
When do you open the second one? What's the
second one?
And what was the second one? Was that Woodruff Road or downtown? Or?
Highway 14.
Highway 14.
Yeah, Element 14.
Oh, okay.
So at this point, we're dividing and conquering, right? So at this point, my mom and my stepdad.
And you have some employees.
We got a couple people now. Yeah, we got a couple people. Yeah, oh yeah, just a couple. Not too many, but we have a few. We finally can afford a
You operated that place for a year or more.
Oh yeah.
With no payroll.
No payroll. Yeah.
How many stores do you have now?
This is number 11. We just opened number 11.
So 11 in 10 years, basically.
10 years, yeah.
10, 11 years.
3 more under construction at the moment. 4 or 5 LOIs that we're working on to start construction on those. So, I mean, we'll probably open easily 8 next year. You know, from now to next year. So this time next year we'll open another 8.
When you have a chance to look back at this stuff, I know you don't because everything's flying by right now. But what do you think? Like,
I'm in awe, man. Honestly, I'm in awe. Every day I wake up in awe of what we've done and where we are, and you know, I'm just grateful and just feel very blessed. I don't understand why or how. You know, I know why, I know how better yet, but I don't know why. You know, why he chose us to go through this journey, but I'm grateful. I know I got to be a good steward of it. I know I have some responsibility in this. Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this question, but why or how? How did all this happen?
You get into an industry where you have a 90% failure rate. If you got good capital, great business plan, you still have a 90% failure rate. We had none of the above. We didn't have a good business plan. We had no money.
You had no business plan.
Yeah. Honest to God, I mean, for me, it's God. It's God. God opened that door.
You had no business plan, no money.
Nothing. God will open a door for you. You got to be willing to work hard. You know, He's not gonna do the work for you. You know, so we were willing to get in there and work 7 days a week. You know, every day, morning to night. So you know, you got to put in the hard work. But I believe He opened those doors, and he didn't. And there was other doors that He didn't open that would have been detrimental. Had I gotten a job at any point during this, it wouldn't have worked out.
Right. You could have gotten a job back at Hall's or anywhere that.
It wouldn't have worked out.
What's your favorite menu item?
Probably be a palomilla bowl.
Yeah?
Palomilla is a thinly sliced sirloin that we cook on a flat top. We saute it with onions.
Okay.
And we serve it with rice, beans, and plantains. It's like the most typical Cuban dish you'll find in a restaurant. It's always going to be the best seller in any Cuban restaurant. And it's our version of it. It's still my favorite to this day.
Say that again?
Palomilla.
Palomilla.
Yeah.
And is that a popular one that's ordered here, or is that something that you have to convince people to buy?
No. Initially, we had to convince them.
Yeah.
They read this name. What is that? Like, it's just beef.
Just beef.
Don't be scared. Just try it. And you know. Yeah, oh yeah.
And how did you come up with the sauces? That's another one of the things that like I told you, I eat this food all the time.
Yeah.
And I wonder where the sauces come from. What was the?
Yeah, like cilantro garlic is something that's typical in a lot of Cuban dishes and a lot of Cuban restaurants. So we put our spin on it. Jalapeno. One day we're sitting there and everybody loves the cilantro garlic. We're like, all right, we gotta make a spicy version of this.
Right.
And we put the fresh peppers in there and spicing it up.
Is that all that is? Is it just the
I can't
jalapenos?
I can't tell you all that. We gotta, come on.
I told my wife I was talking to you today, and I'm like, I got to figure out how to make this sauce at home.
I'll tell you, remember when we first sat down, you told me how to avoid. We talked about. Remember all that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the how to make this. Bring the sauce home.
Nice.
I'm gonna give you the secret.
Okay.
All right.
I will. Oh, okay. Yes. I thought I was gonna have to keep it a secret, but you tell me.
No. You can tell everybody.
Okay.
All right? So I'm only gonna tell you, but you can tell everybody.
Okay.
All right. Back there, that cooler right there.
Yep.
Walk up to the counter. Pay for that bottle.
And you can take it home.
Take it home to your wife, man. Be a good husband. Take it right home. We won't run out, man. We got plenty in the back.
That's great. I thought I was going to get some details there.
I got you, man.
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate you sharing your time with me today, man.
I enjoyed it.
Like I said, I've read a bunch of stuff about you, watched some stuff about you, and I just wanted to kind of hear the whole story because it's an adventure.
Big time. And the thing about that is that we're honestly just in the beginning. I tell my guys all the time, we're in the ground floor of what we could do here.
It's like Dabo Sweeney. I'm a Clemson person, right? Dabo Sweeney says the best is yet to come, right?
Yeah, 100%,
so that's
100%. To this day, I tell my guys, and this is the honest truth, my number one motivation, the reason why I want to continue to open stores is because of these guys right back here. I have, right now, opening this store, roughly 500 employees probably through Tropical. And, I have so many people that I love and I care about back there, and I have to continue to create opportunities.
A significantly larger payroll than zero.
Significantly. From unemployment to 500 just here in Tropical. So,
God.
Yeah, I want to get to 1,000, hopefully, by this time next year, I want to have 1,000 employees. So, so that we're contributing to the great state of South Carolina, and hopefully beyond that. And again, man, my number one motivation is to have unbelievable people working back there. I have the best team. Started off with just a couple of us. Even my daughter's a register. My daughter works for us now. All of them do. My son will start working with us, I'm sure, as soon as he turns 15. And it's a big family to care about these people.
I'm sure he'll get paid when he turns 15, right?
Oh,
but he probably been working all along.
And that kid, anytime he's anywhere near one, you can't keep him off of this stuff. He'll go through it and start working, and you got to fight him and rip him off the register.
Man,
that guy will take over one day.
Yeah.
he loves it. Yeah.